You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, July 15th, nearly halfway through July. The summer is disappearing before we know it. Thank you guys so much for watching on today's show. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that as well. If you're watching us later on YouTube, that's awesome as well. If you've subscribed to us on YouTube, thank you. If you have not, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe, like, comment, all of those things. They all help us out a bunch. So if you're watching this on your podcasting platforms or X or anywhere else and you have a YouTube account, head there, subscribe. We appreciate that as well. As I just mentioned, we are live on X as well. X has been very, very good to us. Nearly 3,000 people watched yesterday's show on X, which is very cool to know. So, and also I just mentioned all of the podcasting platforms have the show available as well. So if you're doing yard work today or you're out and about or you're working out or whatever, you can always check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, the audio podcast version of it as well. Best part about that whole thing is you don't have to look at myself while listening to the show, and that is a good thing for sure. A lot to get to on today's show. Coming up in a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by Will Carius, a former Pleasant Valley standout, former Monmouth standout, Western Illinois standout, getting ready for his fourth season of professional basketball overseas. It's a really awesome story. Got to know Will as I covered him at Pleasant Valley, watched him throughout his college career, loved watching that. Remember him playing at Carver Hawkeye Arena against the Hawkeyes as a member of Western Illinois. And he's also been a great young man. Has helped out my dad's golf outing as well. So really good young man, great journey, great story, really good stuff to get to with Will Carius coming up in a matter of moments. Also yesterday, we unveiled our top 10 high school football rivalries in the Illinois Quad Cities. So the Illinois Quad City area, obviously going out and about, basically the Western Big Six, the old LTC, Three Rivers, the old Olympic, those kind of area teams. I loved it. I thought we did a great job. I think you guys liked it as well. A lot of positive feedback. I expected more negative feedback as well. Didn't get as much, and I think that means we did a pretty decent job. 7 people voted on it. Myself, Greg Armstrong and Mitch Stormer from View from the West, John Marks, Dan Pearson, Nick Bull, and Brian Stocking. And I think the only pushback I got was Brian didn't put the number one rivalry very high. In fact, Rocky Moline barely made his top 10. So coming up in a little bit, Stockpile's going to join us, and he's going to give me his rationale, his justifications, if you will, for why he ranked what rivalry where he did. So that's coming up in a little bit. Also coming up later this week, maybe early next week, we're going to do an Iowa side rivalry as well. So excited about unveiling that over the next couple days as well. That and much, much more. Got plenty to get to on today's show. Yesterday's show was awesome. Greg Armstrong joined me. We unveiled those top rivalries. We also had Caden Weaver on from Davenport North. Unfortunately, Davenport North lost last night to Cedar Falls 5-4. Really good baseball game up in Cedar Falls. But Caden Weaver enjoyed a game-winning hit in the postseason against North Scott. Really good baseball player. Fantastic young man. Really enjoyed having him join the show yesterday as well. And then we talked wrestling as well. A busy weekend. Don Umlin joined me to talk about the big injury to Seth Rollins, the Quad Cities' own Seth Rollins. So a little wrestling talk as well. And if you're a wrestling fan and you're waking up this morning, yes, our tribal chief is back. Roman Reigns returned last night on Monday Night Raw. So if you're a wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a wrestling fan, ignore me. We're getting to other sports here in just a minute as well. So a good show to get to today. If you missed any of the shows last week or even John Deere Classic week, go check them out. You can go to the YouTube page. You can go to the podcasting platforms, anywhere you want to go and check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We thank you guys again for the support of the show. Over 6 months doing this, things are going very well. We're very excited about the way things are going, and we're excited because football season is right around the corner. And I think as much fun as we had in the spring and then maintained during the summer, really excited about some of the things we have planned for the fall as well. So make sure you keep it locked here on Off the Air. It's been a fun thing to do each and every weekday right here in the Quad Cities. I will make a programming note. My family and I are going on a family vacation next week, so we will be missing some days, pre-planning some shows, but there will be some days without OTA, and that's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Trust me. We'll be back rocking and rolling before you know it. I have to survive, and I say that in a nice way, a family vacation with my boys. It's always a ton of fun. Really love it. My wife does an amazing job. She's obviously a rock star. My oldest, Charlie, helps her plan a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's some time on the road with 6 people. So it'll be interesting, but it's always a good time. And we'll talk about it when we get back from the trip. We're excited about it. I think we're going out east. And I don't even know where we're going. Like I do, but like my family vacations consist of me going and finding out as we go what we're doing. And it's always a good time, but I know we're going out east and it should be a lot of fun. So before we get to our first guest today, I do want to look at the headlines, sports headlines for Tuesday, July 15th, and it was a good day yesterday. The Major League Baseball draft coming to an end, but not before Pleasant Valley, a very familiar name, heard their name called in the Major League Baseball draft. It was Seth Clausen, former Pleasant Valley standout, now a pitcher at Minnesota, getting drafted in the 16th round by the Colorado Rockies. Clausen had a team-high 23 relief appearances for the Gophers this past season, 46 strikeouts in those 23 appearances as well. If you remember, Seth Clausen helped lead Pleasant Valley to a 4A state title his senior year at PV. They went 31-4 his senior year. So we wish Seth Clausen the best of luck, and we're excited to welcome him on the show tomorrow. So Seth Clausen will be on the show tomorrow, Minnesota Gopher pitcher, and now a member of the Colorado Rockies organization. Congratulations to him. We will hear from him and have him on the show tomorrow right here on OTA. Also, a former Moline State champion, a familiar face, Owen Freeman, former Hawkeye, now Creighton standout, will be out the next 4 to 6 weeks. We found that out yesterday. Of course, Owen making the move from the University of Iowa to Creighton. According to John Rothstein, he will miss, and actually according to his head coach, Craig McDermott, he'll miss the next 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. Doesn't sound too serious, which is a good thing. I communicate a lot with Owen Freeman when it comes to, more professional wrestling than anything else. But I think the big guy is going to be just okay. He'll be ready to rock by the time they start practice coming up in September. But we wish Owen a speedy recovery from a knee injury. Of course, with the Hawkeyes last year, Owen Freeman averaged nearly 17 points and nearly 7 rebounds a game. Of course, his season cut short because of surgery on his hand last year. But Owen Freeman will be healthy and back at it for Creighton before you know it. Of course, Quad City basketball fans wishing Owen Freeman the best. There's, I'm sure, some Iowa fans watching this that wish he was still in Iowa, if that's a nice way to put it. But Owen will be back and at it in the very near future. We wish him a speedy recovery. Also, last night, we kind of mentioned some baseball. Assumption moving on, baseball-wise. That's one team that we can kind of keep an eye on as we move forward to the postseason on the Iowa side of the river. Good news for Louisa Muscatine softball. They won last night 6-3. They're heading back to state. So awesome for Louisa Muscatine. We'll try to catch up with them sometime, later this week as well. And more softball to come. I know Pleasant Valley and Muscatine have a big matchup to go to state here real soon as well. So the rest of the week, very, very busy. Seth Clausen tomorrow on the show. Also Steam Wheeler Wednesday. Jake Brend will join us from Cyclone Fanatic to talk about Big 12 Media Days that were last week as well. So a lot to get to tomorrow and throughout the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Well, one thing I always enjoyed about my job at WQAD, and of course what I'm continuing to do now, is getting to know young people and their stories. And super proud of all the young athletes that come from the Quad Cities and do big things. And I love watching their journeys into, college and for some beyond into professional sports. And that's the case with my first guest today. One of those players that I've really enjoyed covering in high school and college, and now as a professional athlete, Will Carius joins us right now, former Pleasant Valley standout. First and foremost, my friend, thank you for doing this. It's great to see you. How you been?
Yeah, of course. I've been really good, and I've had fun keeping up with your career transition and seeing the podcast going and stuff like that, so I'm excited to be on.
I love to hear that. Well, I had mentioned, I love the journeys of so many athletes here in the Quad Cities, and they're all different. They're all unique. Yours is as well. You're getting ready for another season of professional basketball. Kind of update people on you, where you've been, and what's next for Will Carius next year.
Yeah, it was something I came to the realization of the other day, actually. It was such a struggle to get my first contract. It almost was a full calendar year before I got to play professionally. And now going into my fourth season, it's something I still really can't believe. And feeling like I'm moving up as well in levels. I guess I have a great opportunity here with this next one to play internationally around Europe. So it's just cool to see that progress and moving coming from somewhere where I wasn't even sure I would get a start. So.
Yeah, I know you played some in Australia and then in Austria. Talk about that transition just to get, because people think I'll just go play. It's hard. You had to be patient to get that first opportunity. Patience paid off. What was that wait like, waiting to finally get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's difficult, especially with social media. You wait all summer and see all these guys that you know or have played against who have signed. I averaged 14 points at a Division I school, and you think you might be decent, but it's really difficult to accomplish still. And it didn't happen until actually another Quad City guy, Dane Swatilla, reached out and said, "Hey, I'm retiring, and they got to fill my position on my team in Australia, and I think you'd be a good fit." Through Coach Delp as well, another Quad City basketball staple, I guess. And that's really how the ice kind of got broken and I got my first shot, and it's been going from there.
Getting to Australia and then to Austria, what's it been like? And when did you realize? I think you knew that you belonged and you should be playing professional basketball, but talk about, seeing is believing. Talk about getting there, that transition, and then, proving to yourself and to everybody else that you're not just a professional basketball player overseas. You're a really damn good one too.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it, is just kind of that blind confidence, hey, this is what I always wanted to do. It's going to happen one way or another. I'm going to either love it and keep going, or I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to give it a shot. And part of that is having a very supportive family. I'm sure there are parts where they were like, I don't know if he's going to do it, but they never told me that. They always said, hey, as long as you want to go for it, keep it up and do it. And the support of the family and the people around here. And when I got to Australia, just being ready to go and hit the ground running and having a solid season there, just so I could keep going.
I got to ask you, because I know Joe Wieskamp was down there recently as well in Australia. What's that country like? It looks beautiful. I know it's on the other side of the world and everything. What's that country like? And was it as beautiful as I think it is? I'll probably never be there, but what was the country of Austria like?
Yep. It was amazing. So I was actually like 15 minutes from where his team was. His team was in Melbourne, Australia. I was just outside in a suburb. And it's amazing. I was there during winter, technically, is the seasons are flipped. So I was there summer here, winter there, and it didn't get below maybe 55, 60 degrees probably the whole time. They're wearing coats. I'm like, what do you mean in Iowa? This is like springtime. This is wonderful. The beaches and things like that. It was just, a very beautiful, cool experience for a first place to play.
Absolutely. Will Carius joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Will, it's been Austria the last 2 years, and you've watched yourself continue to grow, develop. I'm looking on social media, and you're going for 39, going for 42, all those kind of things. What has the Austria experience been like, watching yourself grow, not just as a basketball player, but as a human being and as a young man over there in Austria?
Yeah, the transition from Australia to Austria itself is a little wild as well. Talking to coaches, European basketball is held to such a high standard and so sacred. They would not take film from Australia. It's still a newer market. It is very good and very competitive, but it's newer. It's in its infancy, kind of. And they would look at my college film before they looked at anything from Australia, just because they hold it to such a high standard and they want to see what they know. And so getting into that market was a feat in itself. And Austria was a cool foot in the door and another beautiful place. I was 10 minutes from Vienna, one of the coolest European cities you could be in. And again, just finding a way to be productive and succeed and keep getting the next contract. Everything is 1 year at a time. So you're not focused on the future. You're focused on this game, the next game, and just making sure you perform. So
you're going to go back to Slovakia, I believe. Talk about that decision, and even talking to you before you came on, it's about next year, but it's also an eye on the future as well. You always have to be thinking big picture, and I think that's probably played a role in your decision as well.
Yeah, when you're a guy who's not in the NBA making millions of dollars, you're really trying to decide at what point does that curve fall off? Like, how long do I want to play basketball for? The enjoyment to the living factor. It's hard being away from your family a lot of the year. Like, you want to decide when it's time to wrap it up. And as long as I feel like I'm progressing, I feel like it's a good time to keep playing. If it makes sense financially and I feel like I'm getting to where I want to go, it makes sense. And this year's opportunity is to play in international competition. Like a first game of the year will be in Bulgaria to play against a team from Cyprus. And we have an opportunity to play in Champions League, which is one of the top leagues in the world. Even if we don't do that, we play in the European Cup, which is 6-7 games all around Europe. So another chance just to show my skills in different markets. And like you said, maybe down the road, have more opportunities to play in other places.
The basketball side of things is always entertaining and important, but you mentioned living close to Vienna and in Australia. And if I tell 5-year-old Will that he's living in these cities and experiencing these things, these are lifelong experiences just outside of basketball. Talk about that and how lucky you are to be able to experience some of the things you're experiencing culture-wise and those kind of things.
Oh, I'm incredibly blessed to have these opportunities, and especially being in Melbourne and Vienna, two of the top cities in the world initially. Like, I couldn't have gotten more lucky to be in those places. And I would have probably never traveled internationally without basketball. It's an expensive endeavor. People always ask in Europe, why don't Americans come more often? I'm like, man, like the flight alone is $1,500. Like, it's quite the investment, let alone getting around while you're there. But I'm so happy I have. I've made a lot of great friendships with people there too. And you get a cool perspective of the world as a whole. We're really not all that different from people who live over there. They have their cultures and language and differences there, but we all laugh about the same things. We all go have a beer around the same table. Like, it's a very cool experience in that way as well.
Absolutely. Will Carius joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I want to go back to young Will because I met you in high school, of course, and your journey's been amazing. And I mentioned at the top, I love watching. I always use Chase and Randall's journey as somebody where I was like, Che, you got to write a book someday because, like, the journeys and the ups and downs. I want to start with that journey into college. Pleasant Valley, obviously very important. Success. state, all those kind of things. But you played at the D3 level, the D2 level, and the D1 level. Talk about your journey in college alone, because that was as unique as it gets as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm always chasing something when it comes to basketball. Out of high school, it was getting that full ride scholarship. I mean, that's the end all be all when you play sports, is getting your school paid for. And that's what I got at my D2 school for the first 2 years. And I just realized that wasn't all there was to sports. Like, I thought that would just make me feel like I made it. And I enjoyed my time there, don't get me wrong. But coming back to a Division III school where I had roots, where my dad and grandpa had both gone as well, was such a good transition, and honestly prepared me a lot for the overseas basketball lifestyle, because they're not going to pay for everything. Like in Austria, we had a trainer 2 days a week. We probably had a trainer more times than that at Monmouth College. I mean, the way you got to conduct yourself and take care of your own business at the D3 level really translated, so I wouldn't replace that experience for the world either.
Absolutely. Getting to Western Illinois, I know was an awesome thing. You mentioned you averaged 14 points at the D1 level. To make that jump from D3 to D1 and have the success you had, just kind of talk about that experience and what that meant to you. You talked about chasing. You're always chasing something. You're playing Division I basketball. That had to be something that you chased as a young boy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I said, getting a scholarship and playing D1 are like the two biggest things you can achieve. I mean, when you have goals as a high school athlete. And first off, I can never give my coach at Monmouth enough credit, Scrivseth. I got hurt my last year there. And instead of saying, hey, let's rush your recovery, let's get you back, we'll see how this season goes, he said, it'll make more sense for you to sit and see where you can take basketball. I mean, he said, you can get your master's if you get this red shirt. You can go play at a higher level. He said, it makes sense for your career. I can never thank him enough for that. And I got to achieve that dream of playing D1 and chase, like you said, a new goal of seeing how well I can play at that level. So that's one of the biggest pieces of where my story has gone. And I was just in Monmouth last week. I told him that again. I mean, I'll never stop saying it. I mean, that was a big cornerstone in how I got to be a professional athlete, to be honest.
Absolutely. Will Carius joined right now. I want to talk family with you for a second. I'll talk about that daddy years here soon. Got to know him a little bit. An outstanding dude. But I want to start with how I maybe met you the most. Unfortunately, you lost your mom when you were in high school. And you guys were nice enough to open up your home and let me tell that story. What would she say right now if she knew her boy was playing in Slovakia and in Austria and playing the game that you love? And I think that's the thing she knew, is that you loved basketball. What would she say to this right now?
I think first she would say at least sitting on all those damn gyms over every summer wasn't a waste. Spending money on AAU and stuff like that. That would probably be the first thing. She'd make a joke about that. But also she was a big history buff. She loved history, learning about the world, and just knowing that I get to experience the things that we learned about, what she taught us about as kids firsthand in some of these places, would give her so much joy as well. Like outside of the basketball part, just culturally and historically, I think she would be very excited to know I'm experiencing that.
Absolutely. Obviously, she would be very proud as well. How much do you think of her and want to carry on her legacy and what she taught you? I think what I learned from the story that I did with you guys was basketball was one thing, but mom was teaching life. I mean, that's so. How much do you carry what she taught you life-wise to what you're doing right now, all the way overseas in all these different areas of the world?
Yeah, I mean, just basic like things of how to conduct yourself and just first impressions and things like that. I mean, you don't make it in overseas basketball if you're being a jackass, you know? Like teams don't want to deal if they're going to pay to fly you out, pay to house you, pay to have you in their community as a foreigner. They want someone who's going to conduct themselves well, be a gentleman, be someone they want their families around. And that's the biggest piece. I mean, just taking those lessons that I learned from her, learning it early on made my life easier because I just did what she taught me to do. And it's made such a big difference, made teams not have to think twice about signing me. Just those kind of things go so far and you don't realize how far they go until you get to that point, you know?
Absolutely. I want to talk about the rest of that family too, because you mentioned you're gone you leave in August and you come back in May so you're home for 2 months and trying to see them as much as possible. Mom or not mom, dad and family able to get over to see you, and what's that like?
Yep.
Not being around them as much. Dad, I know, is a basketball junkie. Is he watching you on all these weird, like streams at different times? Talk about his ability to keep up with his boy.
Yep, he's watching every game live. I mean, a lot of the games will be at, I think, about 10 or 11 in the morning, so he'll be at work having it on the laptop at the side. My brother and sister will be watching them as well. Actually, my dad got to visit me my first year in Austria and my second year. My sister got to visit me in my first year. So just taking the time and the financial commitment to do that as well and just see where I'm at and get to experience that kind of life with me a little bit brings me so much joy as well. Absolutely.
A few more for Will Carius before I let him go. He's probably got like people wanting to see him today as well. So we got to get him out of here. But what's the strangest food, or your how do I put this? Your strangest food and maybe your most favorite food that you've had overseas that you would have probably never had here in the Quad Cities or in the United States?
All right, the first one I always think of, I'll never forget, is getting to Australia that first morning, and Dane Swatilla picked me up from the airport because I lived with him for that summer. We go back to his house, I get all my stuff off, and he's like, "I'm making breakfast. I'm having kangaroo and eggs. You want some?" I'm like, "What? You're just having kangaroo for breakfast?" He's like, "Yeah, of course." Like he said, there it's like deer. It's kind of an invasive species. They're everywhere. They encourage people to eat it. And honestly, I had it a few more times after that. I actually liked it. It's very lean, very no fat whatsoever, like big piece of red meat, similar to beef. But I'll never forget it. I mean, my first morning, I was asking all the Australian guys. I was like, "Hey, do you guys eat this every morning, or is that just Dane?" They're like, "No, that's just Dane getting his protein."
Unbelievable. Kangaroo. You're those cute little things. No, but hey, I can't stand deer, so the deer analogy makes sense. As somebody who's hit deer twice with my car, I can't stand deer, so I'll eat them if they don't hurt me. What's the favorite food you've had over there that maybe Austria or Australia? What's the favorite food, the food that you've become most accustomed to when it comes to something maybe a little different than here in the Quad Cities?
Yeah. I mean, I just love trying all foods in general is one thing. And being in big cities like Melbourne and Vienna, you get the best of most all cuisines. So I've gotten to try various things. I really loved hanging out with my teammates from Serbia and Montenegro and having cevapcici, which was really good. Just their style of communal eating, and it's really like a family event when they get together and eat. I actually got to eat in Montenegro with my teammate and his grandma, and she made us her own food, stuffed peppers and stuff. I didn't know they had stuffed peppers outside of the Midwest. I didn't know that was a thing that was international. But that and cevapcici is like a mixed pork and beef sausage, and it's just like their thing, like how schnitzel is for Austrians. That's how it is for them. And just, I think it honestly is less about the food and more the relationship, and that he would take me there and eat his favorite dish with his family, I think was so cool. So I think this is the stories that go along with it make it my favorite. But
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, you got back to the States. You get back to the Quad Cities. What here in the Quad Cities do you have to be like, okay, I'm home. I need to get this. I need to eat that. What are the Quad City things that you need to hit up when you're home for the couple months of the entire year that you're home?
I mean, we've got so many new restaurants and stuff, which is so cool. But lately I had, I'm trying to think, Arthur's Pasta Salad is like one of the top ones. Happy Joe's sauerkraut and Canadian bacon pizza. Okay. And I'm trying to think of one other one. I still got to try Al's Burgers. I've heard Al's Burgers are amazing, so I need to get over there before I leave.
Yes, I got to tell you that. So the original one, they're opening up another one, but it's right by Alaman High School. and I got a freshman there, and he would go. They'd have like 2 practices, and they'd have a break between practice. And I'm like, what are you going to do between practice? And he's like, I'm going to go to Al's. And I'm like, you're going to get a burger and fries? But like, I guess you can remember being in high school and eating stupid stuff like that, right? Like nowadays, that's a bad idea, but you could handle a burger back in the day, I'm sure.
Nope. Yep. We would go to the Life Fitness Center for 2-3 hours, play basketball, and then walk up to Wendy's over in Bettendorf, and then that would be our thing. So I can relate 100%.
I love it. If you could have dinner with one person in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh, dinner with one person in the world. Oh, that's a tough one. Who is yours? Break the ice a little bit. Who is your one person?
You got to do this to me. You got to do that to me. Oh, my goodness.
You got to help me out.
So it could be past or present. I always answer this question with my old man, who's no longer with us. But that would be somebody that I'd love to just sit and have spaghetti with one more time. Other than that, I'm a huge Detroit Lions fan. So it would probably be someone along the lines of a Barry Sanders or a Matthew Stafford, something like that. What about you? I broke the ice.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, thank you. I'll go. I'll give 2 as well. I enjoy having dinner with my family so much. That's something that I really miss while I'm gone, and we just did it last night, and it brings me so much joy and happiness to do it just because it doesn't happen as much. Especially my brother has his own house now. He hosted, just doing things like that. So that's my emotional answer. Now my celebrity answer. I would have to say it'd be like Michael Jordan or something. Yeah. Just someone of that status. I mean, I'm sure you meet a lot of professional athletes, but he's like one that's untouchable. I feel like that, no one gets to meet him. So I mean, that would be pretty sweet.
Does that mean that you're the best of all time? Are you an MJ or a LeBron guy? I know you young people keep thinking this LeBron nonsense. Are you an MJ guy?
I'm MJ for the sake of the wholeness of his career, from starting the Jordan brand to being a Chicago Bull, for all of those reasons. Now LeBron is, for his stats and his longevity, is getting there. Okay. But for the whole storyline and narrative, it's still Michael Jordan.
See, I still have faith in young people now, because the majority of the time I'll hear people that if they're under a certain age, they're like LeBron. If they're older a certain age, it's MJ. I get that as well. A few more for you, I promise, before I let you go.
No problem.
Most famous person in your cell phone.
Oh.
Is there any contact that you're like, this is cool, I have this person in my phone?
I'm going to say this now. I'm going to send it to him, and he's going to be so happy. It's going to be, it's probably Max Schmarzo, the Strong by Science, Iowa's most famous dad. Okay. At this point, it probably is. He gets millions of views on all his videos now. Now he's playing in the TBT. Honestly, if we're going by the numbers of most famous, social media, it's probably him.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Will, before I let you go, you mentioned Jordan Delp in the process of the interview. I want to maybe finish with him, because when I look at, and I'm it's weird. I'll tell my wife, so many of you guys are out there doing things, and I'm almost like a proud papa, and I had nothing to do with any of it. But getting to cover you guys and to know you guys, yourself, Chase and Randall, I already mentioned, Ethan Happ, Joe Wieskamp, DJ Carr, all those guys that you get to know, there's two common denominators. One, they're good people. They're really good people. Two, Jordan Delp is the other common denominator. Can you talk? I know he's doing amazing things with Augustana basketball, and he's very modest, so he's going to roll his eyes if he watches this.
Oh, but too modest.
Yes. Yeah. What's he meant to, not to you, just yourself, but also to Quad City basketball? It's going like this, and he's a big reason why.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, any name you say, he's been in the gym with Jordan Delp. And, I mean, part of it is just his desire to coach basketball, but another is, like you said, is just him as a person. I mean, when I was that whole year of not having a pro contract, he was in the gym with me, and he was just starting to get into things with Augie, so he would let me get a key to the gym. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. Not at Augustana, at his old place. You remember we used to call
Yeah.
it the Deltplex,
Yeah,
but his place
absolutely.
on the river. So I was in there after work every night just because he gave me a place to go play for free and work on my game and get prepared. I mean, just the kind of guy he is, and obviously he's an effective coach. He's an effective teacher. That's plain to see. But he also surrounds himself around good people. Like, he wouldn't be coaching the guys unless they were to. He doesn't put up with any BS. Like, you're either going to listen and want to get better, or you can go find another way to do it. And the people around him wanted to get better, and he supported the area so much. I'll never thank him enough for all he's done for me.
Yeah, he's a good person. What's after basketball for you? Are you a coach? Have you thought about, you got plenty of years left, Will. I'm not retiring you anytime soon.
No.
But have you thought about life after basketball and is coaching or something like that in your future?
For sure. I mean, because you never know when it can happen. Like, basketball is so fleeting, athletics is. I've never been a desire to be like a head coach or something, but I also would love to pass along what people have taught me in my time going up. I feel like I have a lot that I can give on to the next generation as well. So whatever capacity that is, even if that's just going to my old high school or like going back to Monmouth like I did and talking to the guys that are there, if it's as little as that, that'll make me feel like the time people invested in me was worth it to pass that along a little bit. Like I said, I don't think I see myself coaching high school or something like that. I ended up getting my master's degree at Western, so I probably want to pursue something in business. But yes, as I would love to be able to pass some of the knowledge and time invested in me on to other people, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Will, I've enjoyed the heck out of this. I could do this all morning. I appreciate you. One thing I tell people all the time, we have my dad's golf outing and we have the goofy hole number 7 with the basketball hole. And you are one of the long list of people that have contributed their time and came back and done that. Next year, we got to get you back out with your old man, maybe your brother, and you guys can actually golf. You guys can get out there and join us as well. But it's in June, so it might work out for you. But I appreciate the time. Yeah. And we'll catch up soon. Tell your dad, your family I said hi. And as always, stay healthy. Best of luck. And we'll be keeping an eye on you right here in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and thank you for giving a voice and a platform for a lot of Quad City athletics for the last 25 years and continuing to do so on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and it's fun to keep up with.
I appreciate you. Will Carius, professional basketball player. We love to say that as well. We'll talk to you soon, Will. Appreciate you.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. We got much more to get to here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Coming up next, we unveiled our top high school football rivalries in the state of Illinois in the Quad City area yesterday, and there's been plenty of feedback. We're going to talk with one of our voters who's maybe the center of some of that feedback coming up right after this. You're watching OTA on a Tuesday. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high, each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfathers is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Hey, Quad Cities, you looking for a night of action, unity, and appreciation? We've got something special, Quad Cities. What's better than Saturday night IFL football? Saturday night IFL football with dollar beers. Join us Saturday, July 26th for Fan Appreciation Night as your Steamwheelers take on Tulsa in the regular season finale. This night's got everything. Hard-hitting action, cold beer for a buck, and the wildest crowd in the IFL. Bring your friends, your thirst, and your loudest voice. This one's for the fans. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets. Brought to you by Bally's Casino.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Monday's show was a lot of fun. We decided to do something kind of fun, inspired a little bit by Scott Docterman, who just recently ranked the top 100 college football rivalries for The Athletic. Did a fantastic job. So we figured we'd dummy it down a little bit and do the best football rivalries in the Illinois side of the river in the Illinois Quad Cities. That included the Western Big Six, the old Lincoln Trail, Three Rivers, even the old Olympic Conference. The schools that are here in the Quad Cities viewing area, if you will. It was a lot of fun. We had 7 people vote on it. Myself, Greg Armstrong, Mitch Stormer from View from the West, Dan Pearson, the one and only Dan Pearson, Nick Bull, John Marks, and the young man that's going to join me right now, Brian Stocking. You were one of the prestigious voters for the poll, I should say. First and foremost, thanks for coming on and doing this. You love history.
Not a problem.
How did you approach voting? Because I looked at it in so many different ways. You could look historically, you could look success-wise, the hatred factor. Most rivals always hate each other. How did you approach the task of ranking these rivalries before I make fun of you for some of the dumb things you did?
Well, the way I looked at from a historical view. I looked at from the list that we got, and then I looked at from a historical view, but I also looked at from a recency view, and also I looked at it from a margin of victory. I mean, and also have teams been really good lately, like Moline UT. Yes, they're right down the street, and we've heard UT say, that's the school to the east. They don't even mention the word Moline. They don't like Moline. But recently, the rivalry hasn't been that good. I think it's like 2 times in the last 20 years that UT's beaten Moline. Yeah. A lot of the games haven't even been close. And if you look at like conference titles, UT hasn't competed for a conference title in almost a quarter century. Moline has, but their games against UT haven't decided whether they're going to make it to the playoffs or win a conference or not. So I sort of put all those things together and sort of came up with it from the way I look at the rivalries. Like if I was looking at on a regular Friday night,
absolutely.
Will these games have my interest?
Yeah, no, I understand. So let me go down the rivalry list real fast. You can check them out on all my social media. A lot of feedback. We appreciate the feedback. I'm surprised, Stockpile, because not a lot of negative feedback, which usually when you get in these kind of things, you did something right. Maybe we did it right, but the rankings that we have: number 1, Rock Island Moline; number 2, Kewanee Princeton; number 3, Geneseo Sterling; number 4, the Wooden Shoe Morrison Fulton; number 5, Rock Ridge and Mercer County, or Aledo back in the day; number 6, Newman Rock Ridge, a little more of a newer rivalry; number 7, Battle of Rock Island, Alleman and Rock Island; number 8, Anawan Weathersfield, Stark County; number 9, Moline U2, we just talked about; and number 10, which goes back a long, long time, Galena and Stockton. When you hear those rankings, I was pleased with them. Did you like the overall rankings after all 7 people voted?
I thought Princeton Kewanee should have been number 1. And the reason I say that is Princeton Kewanee has been played on. It's been played on Thanksgiving. It's been played on Veterans Day before the state institute playoffs. Princeton Kewanee is one of those rivalries. When you hear the names Princeton and Kewanee, that to me is high school football in the state of Illinois. Moline Rocky is a great rivalry, but lately, when you look at Moline Rocky, the games have been one-sided lately for Moline. But
so you're taking
a hundred. There were a lot of one-sided.
You're taking 126 years of an amazing rivalry, and you're penalizing them because the last couple years haven't been very competitive.
No, I'm not penalizing it for the last couple of years.
Well, hold on. You did, because what did you rank Moline and Rock Island at?
I ranked it 10th, namely because Moline and Rocky, they haven't had a game that's been a one-possession game since 2014.
Okay,
only twice since 2007 has it been a one-possession game.
That's like 10 years. Stockpile, that's 10 years. They've played for 126 years. They're the most heated, longest-standing rivalry in the state. How is that number 10? I'm okay with 2. I'm okay with 3. How is it 10?
Looking at the totality of the series, if we were talking basketball, it'd be slam dunk number 1, because Rocky Moline in basketball, to me, is basketball in the state of Illinois. It's Western Big Six. It's Illinois basketball at its finest. But football lately has not been as good as people want. Even when you go back into since the start of the Western Big Six in 1971, for many of those years, most of their games were in September, and most of the time they were not for conference. They weren't even for the Metro Conference.
Tell that to Dan McGuire. Tell that to Vic Boblet. Tell that to those two coaches that battled for the Western Big Six all the time.
When McGuire and Boblet were coaching, I even said this from 96 to 99, which was, I think, the greatest 4 games in the series history. Those games were all one-possession games, and they were for the Western Big Six championship. But since then, after McGuire left, Rocky dominated the Western Big Six. Then even after Boblet left, when they had the coach that went to Florida from Rocky,
Hammer, Ben Hammer.
Yeah, before Morrissey got there, Rocky dominated the series. And then since Morrissey got to Moline and Hammer left Rocky, it's been all Moline with the exception, I think one game was forfeited because the closest game in like the last 10 years, Moline had to forfeit because they had a player, they used an illegal player.
But it's ebbs and so there's ebbs and flows like any rivalry. What's the overall record of the series? 62, 59, and 5. 62, 59. How is this not a great rivalry? It's as even as you can almost get. It's been around for 126 years. It's 2 of the biggest, best schools in our area. They can't stand each other. They've had great coaches, great players, great games. How in the world is that number 10? Stockpile 10.
But like I said, the last non-forfeited game decided by 11 points or less was in 2014.
Recency biased.
Like I said, the heyday of this rivalry was in the late 90s when you had Boblet and McGuire and they were playing for conference and in some cases state. But
that should count, right? That counts, right?
Well, it counts, but that's why it's 10. But
so
I just looked.
Let's go. Hold on, Stack.
It's lost a lot of steam.
You have third, and I love this. Not even third. Let me find it. You have one ahead of them. Newman and Rockridge. You're telling me that, and no disrespect to those two schools. No, I'm sorry. You have Newman and Rockridge number 3 overall. No disrespect to those great schools. Love those great schools. They've played 12 times.
Yes,
12 times. They're going
to be playing a lot more. Yes, but we're not. Are we voting for how long they've played or how good the games have been? Because when you talk to Scott Dockerman had Iowa-Wisconsin is one of his top rivalries.
But they play all the time, and they've played forever. They've played forever. Like, that's part of the equation.
Not as Iowa-Minnesota.
But that's part of the equation.
Plus Iowa and Minnesota play for a pig. I mean,
and that's still up there. Like, that's there.
But it's not as it's
you took a rivalry that's played 12 games. 12 games.
I just think Newman and Rockridge has been a better rivalry.
No, they've been better games. Yes. The last 12 years, the Rock Island, if you did games, probably the more entertaining games is Rock Island, Rockridge, and Newman. But that's not this is best football rivalries in Quad City history. History, like, ever. Okay, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. Hold on, let me find another one. And this is not the reason. This is not the reason I had you on. I love to debate with Stockpile. I miss Stockpile. There ain't much about WQID I miss. You're one of them. Like, doing these debates and all these kind of things are one of them. I don't mean that in a mean way. There's a lot of people I miss at this station and all that, but I do miss. I don't miss the late nights. But anyways, I'm looking at your list. I agree with Geneseo. That's great to be on there. So I'll just tell people what yours was. Kewanee Princeton 1, Fulton Morrison, Wooden Shoe, love the rivalry. Number 2, I have no issues with that. Newman Rockridge. Newman Rockridge isn't even the best rivalry that Rockridge is involved in. It's probably the third best.
With Morrison and Fulton going to the Northwest Upstate Illini and how competitive that conference is, I think Morrison-Fulton games could very well be determinants of, are they in the playoff or are they not in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Because that's how good that conference is not a joke. Anyone who doesn't understand how good Northwest Upstate Illini conference football is just doesn't understand high school football in the state of Illinois. Conference is legit.
And I was worried when Fulton left for that conference and Morrison stayed. Now that they're both in the same conference, I love the fact that the Wooden Shoe remains. That's a very good thing. Newman and Rockridge, which isn't even the best rivalry that Rockridge has for football. Talk to anybody in Rockridge. Hold on. Talk to any Rockridge person. I call Glenn Cook, bless his heart, and tell him that the best football rivalry for Rockridge is Newman, and he'll fall out of his chair. Right?
I would hate to think he would think it's Sherrard, because Rockridge Sherrard lately has not been that good of a series.
No, not at all. I would put it like this: Rockridge, Mercer County early though. I'd put Rockridge Orion second. I'd put Rockridge Sherrard third. No, that's not true. I'd probably put Rockridge Newman in there. I would do that, but
if we were talking 5 years ago, Rockridge Orion would be on the list.
We're talking historically. We're not talking today.
I know,
we're talking historically.
I know, but we're also talking now, and Rockridge Orion the last several years has not been a very good series.
Okay, hold on. Let me get through these. Geneseo Sterling, you have it number 4. Love the rivalry, and I think it ended up being number 3 on our list. So completely agree with that one. Newman Princeton, I mean, yeah, they're two good schools, but I don't look at them as huge rivals. They didn't make the list overall. Hold on. Princeton Rockridge, number 2 or number 6. Where's your number 4? Moline Sterling. Okay, we'll pick up there. That's a perfect spot. Great coaches, great teams lately. The road to the Western Big Six Championship before Quincy got really good the last couple of years ran through Moline and Sterling. I get that. How does that make Moline and Sterling a fantastic historic rivalry when they've been in the Western Big Six together for what is it? 10 years? No, 7 years?
6 years.
6 years.
Moline and Sterling played each other in the 70s and 80s as a non-conference. And it was a pretty good series when it was non-conference.
How often?
Then when Sterling joined the Western Big Six, they played every year. The first 2 years, Sterling won the conference. Who did they beat at the end of the year to get the conference title? Moline.
That happened with Rocky.
And that happened with the next 2 years.
That happened with Rocky Moline too. How many times did Rocky win the conference and Moline finish second, or vice versa?
And
you
then
don't have that in front of you.
in 2023,
Yep.
Sterling knocked Moline out of the playoffs, and Sterling got in the playoffs with that Week 9 victory, 22-17. So you have so that's one of the determinants. You have Sterling and Moline. The winner goes to the playoffs. The loser stays home, which essentially that happened because
That happened one
even
time.
though Sterling was at
That
a
happened one time.
4-5, they were in the they got in the playoffs. But still, winner goes home. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser goes home. That's what happened with Moline and Sterling. That's why I put them on the list.
But ahead of Rocky Moline, the longest running rivalry in the state, one of the longest running rivalries in the state of Illinois, Western Big Six powerhouses in the 80s and the 90s what are we doing here? You're talking about a team you're talking about two schools that met all the time and for 126 years. And then you're taking that with Moline and Sterling that played ever so often in the 70s and 80s and now have been rivals in the conference for a couple years now.
It's just what I felt, and it's the way I looked at. And I just think that when you look at Sterling Moline, I think Sterling Moline's going to be a very big rivalry as we continue to move on. Now, if Rocky starts playing better and Rocky starts doing very good again, it starts, maybe pulls an upside Moline, then we can pull that. We can look at that.
But
right now,
you love history.
With history and all the other things, this isn't just a history because we did history.
Mainly history.
We'd be
but
talking
it's mainly
about rivalries
history.
that have been going on forever. Right, but we're also talking about the here and now. What's made some of these rivalries because in the 80s, Geneseo Sterling wasn't a very good rivalry when Geneseo was clobbering them, but Geneseo Sterling is a very good rivalry now. If we were talking in the 90s, we probably would have been talking about Geneseo Rochelle because Geneseo and Rochelle were playing for conference titles every year.
So answer me this, Stockpile. You talk about series as being good. Geneseo and Sterling have not been very competitive of late. Why are they ranked so high, but Rocky and Moline not ranked so high?
Well, I think that when you look at the totality of everything, you're looking at Sterling and Geneseo have been playing for NCIC championships in the past 10 years. Moline Rocky, when was the last time Moline Rocky was the game to win the Western Big Six? Hasn't been in the last 10 years. So I think Sterling and Geneseo, they were still playing for NCIC championships until they moved to the Western Big Six. And if the trend continues where Sterling continues to dominate Geneseo only has 9 points in the last 5 meetings. That series could fall in a couple years down in the rankings if Geneseo can't pull an upset.
You're a historian, Stockpile. I'm surprised history doesn't mean more to you.
History means a lot to me, but in this case, Moline Rocky lately has not. The best part of the Moline Rocky series was that time in the late 90s, early 00s, where McGuire had Moline going and Bobblehead had Rocky going. You look into the 70s and the 80s, Moline Rocky were struggling to gain any traction. You look in the 80s when Tracy was at Allman winning championships, UT was winning conference championships. I saw on one of the socials that you talk about Allman UT was a big series in the 80s. And now, Moline Rocky, it hasn't been there for the last 10 years. Like I said, if we were talking basketball, absolutely Rocky Moline's my number one. And probably if we're talking baseball, Rocky Moline's at the top of that. But right now, when we're talking about football football, it just hasn't been there the last 10, 15 years. There are other series that are better at this point.
Recency biased is your problem, Stockpile. I understand if you want to say
some recency bias.
If you want to say Kewanee and Princeton are ahead of Rock Island and Moline, absolutely fine. There's no list in America that would have that rivalry down at number 10. It's silliness. Okay. What rivalry do you wish you could put on your list that you had to leave off? Was there a rivalry that you really wanted to find room for that you couldn't find enough room for on your list?
I was looking at, like, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking maybe like maybe Moline UT as being like a number 10 or 11, being a number 11. But I just could not, or maybe Galena Stockton. But the thing with Mercer County that's hard with Mercer County is Merco, we talked about Aledo, but if you start talking about Aledo as its standalone, then you also need to start talking about Anawan as its standalone, Weathersfield as its standalone, because Aledo became Mercer County, I think, so Mercer hasn't played. This was the first year they played Rockridge in the regular season. First time they played Sherrard in the regular season. First time they played Orient in the regular season.
No. Quit looking at it. Quit looking at it as today and look at the totality of the series, the schools that were. So yeah, if you want to say Anawan played somebody, you could do that, but their biggest rival was Weathersfield, and now they're with Weathersfield. So that doesn't count. Like Mercer County is Aledo. Wow. Yes, Westmer's there too and whatever else, but it is Aledo. It's the same school. It literally is the same school.
But not in the eyes of the state or in the name. I mean, Mercer County Golden Eagles is different than Aledo Green Dragons.
You're so frustrating. I love you to death. You're so frustrating. Hey, we're going to do this for the Iowa side of the river. So big picture that for me when we do the Iowa side. What rivalries pop into your head when you think Iowa Quad City area high school football?
Well, I'm going to remove my Davenport schools versus the Battles of Davenport.
Why?
Because those are separate. I'm just going to remove it at this point.
Okay.
I would say probably Bettendorf, Pleasant Valley, Bettendorf Assumption, even though they haven't played in the last several years.
Then it doesn't count. Then they shouldn't be on the list.
Well, they'll be on the list.
But
because you can't write if you're going to write the history of high school football in the state of Iowa, you have to have Bettendorf Assumption because they played in the playoffs several million times.
So same thing with Rocky
Pleasant
Moline.
Valley North Sky. Rocky and Moline played in the playoffs. When?
But look at the amount of series, the amount of games that have played in that series.
Bettendorf and Assumption played in the playoffs. Bettendorf and Assumption would play almost every year. Once in the regular season, once in the playoffs.
But that's because it's the stupid Iowa
The last
system.
time Moline and Rocky played in the regular season twice was 1982.
I know, but
because they couldn't fill their schedules in 81 and 82.
I get what you're saying, but that doesn't happen in Illinois because Illinois has a normal system. Iowa has a stupid system that you had to play each other in your own area in order to get to the state. So Assumption never been to the Dome. Assumption's never been to the Dome because of Bettendorf.
Correct, because they usually ran into Bettendorf.
Hold on. So you put, with Moline Sterling, you put a lot of emphasis on the last 6 years, right? What's Assumption and Bettendorf in the last 6 years?
It will be a demerit on the on their chat on the
should be an eliminator. Should be eliminator, right?
Not an eliminator,
in your eyes,
but a demerit.
I agree, but
it's
not
a
in your.
demerit.
Okay, go ahead. What else in Iowa?
Well, besides the Davenport, I would say probably McCoken and Central DeWitt.
Yeah,
that's an understated rivalry.
What about Wilton and Durant?
Wilton Durant, the backyard brawl is an understated rivalry. I mean, it's a little bit off the reservation, but not much. Northeast and Comanche have played a lot of games against each other.
Yeah.
So Northeast and Comanche. I think Meepo and Meepo L&M have played a lot.
Doesn't matter if they played a lot. If they got big good games. Rocky Moline have played a lot, and they're number 10. So
you're asking me off the top of my head. So I would probably say something with Mediapolis. Muscatine and Burlington, Muscatine and West has been a good rivalry.
Yeah.
you could say Central and
Hold on. Muscatine and West have not been a good rivalry. How is that a rivalry?
They're closer than you think. They're closer to each other than you think.
No, Muscatine used to be really good. They've had some struggling years. I shouldn't say that because West has had some good years too. But I don't think, when you think high school football on the Iowa side, you don't think West and Muscatine as a rivalry. How about this one?
No,
how about Central DeWitt and Clinton?
The only thing that's holding that back, there's two things holding that back. One is they have hardly played each other.
Yeah.
And second, with the exception of 1 year, Central DeWitt has beaten Clinton like a drum. And that the year that they lost, the years Clinton beat Central DeWitt, they beat Central DeWitt. It was Katie barred the door early in that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sort of, it sort of gets back to the Moline UT where it's been where most of the games have been blowouts.
Who's North Scott's rival? Who's North Scott's rival?
I would say Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, and they haven't played together for a while. I know it's different now because the MAC doesn't exist, unfortunately, and it's district, so you don't get to play everybody all the time. But I would think Pleasant Valley as well. Maybe Bettendorf a little bit. Maybe
Bettendorf. Possibly Assumption because they have played a little bit in districts. But mostly, you look at Pleasant Valley, North Scott, they were playing back in the late 60s, early 70s. So Pleasant Valley's longest rival is North Scott. In fact, they didn't play Bettendorf in the regular season till 1988.
Yeah.
Their first year, they were going to play they were scheduled to play Week 9 in the MAC. Well, back then, Week 9 was the first week of the playoffs, and Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley was a playoff game and not a conference game.
They do things. They do things so goofy over there sometimes.
That was really goofy. Those were goofy eras because Week 9 would never be a playoff. Was always the first week of the playoffs. So you have teams who'd schedule a Week 9 game and then they cancel because they're in the playoffs, and then you got schools trying to find each other or just saying, hey, we're done, and it's enough to make you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah, I hear you. So hey, I don't want to go down the road with Iowa too much because that's a different podcast and we'll do all that in a little bit. Before I let you go, you're wearing a Cubs shirt. It's the All-Star break.
Yes.
How are we feeling?
Pretty good. The Cubs are in first place, but it's only a game lead. But hey, they're in first place. They need to get pitching. They need to get pitching, starting and relief, and another bat or two. Now, I don't want to give up the farm. There's talk that if they go to the Marlins for Alcantara, please no, because Alcantara's ERA is almost 8, and in his last 18 innings, his ERA is almost 10. I think there's talk that they would have to give up Owen Casey, who's one of their top prospects at Iowa. I think they got to keep Cassie because he would be the insurance policy if the Cubs can't re-sign Kyle Tucker. I would like to see them go after Mitch Keller from the Pirates. And also, DJ LeMahieu was just released by the Yankees. He would be some infield depth. I know he's not really a third baseman, but maybe you get him into the mix. Maybe Nico Horner can play a little third, or give some guys a break. LeMahieu's, maybe he's at the end, but maybe he's got just a few months left in him to get the Cubs into the playoffs. And when you look at it, the Dodgers are struggling really bad, which my mom loves. The Phillies have been struggling. The Braves are probably out of it. The Mets have been scuffling. So if the Cubs can get in the play, as long as the Cubs get in the playoffs, we'll worry about home field and if we got to buy into the divisional series. We worry about that when you get there. First, let's get to the playoffs, and then we can worry about all that other stuff. But the Cubs do need to get another arm or two in their rotation, and they need to get some bullpen help.
I agree 100%. Hopefully we can talk more Cubbies down the line. So Stockpile, I always appreciate you. I want
them to give up the farm.
I hear you. No farm giving up. I do want people to know we yell at each other like this all the time. We love each other.
Yes.
That's what family does. And you are one of
Yes.
the most frustrating people I've ever met, but you have your opinions. You also have your biases. We all know that as well. So I appreciate
everyone.
this. We'll talk more when we do the Iowa one as well. And Stockpile, high school football season is going to be here before you know it. It's going to be beautiful.
I know. I'm waiting for Illinois to release the schedules, which they're going to do July 18th. So that will be a very good time to see the schedules, be up there on schedules, and sort of get them written down. And Iowa's got their schedules out, which I got written down, which I'm going to be writing down. So I think it's I'm really excited for the season. I think we're going to have a very interesting season this year. There's going to be a lot of changes with districts and that, but there's also a lot of new players that we're going to be meeting and seeing how they step up. Because there were a lot of good players, especially quarterbacks on the Illinois side that graduated last year. And there's going to be some teams. I'll give you a dark horse: Erie Prophetstown.
I love it.
Dark horse.
Stockpile's already given dark horses and all those good things. It'll be a fun high school football season. Behave yourself, young man. Tell Mother Stockpile I said hi. We'll talk to you real soon.
Okay, we'll see you, Dazzo.
All right, that is the one and only, and thank God there's only one of them, Brian Stocking. He's crazy. He's nuts. The Rocky Moline rivalry needs to be, if you don't want to put him number one, I get it, but 10 is ridiculous. But it didn't affect things. If you want to see the rankings, head to my social media. I'll go through them again for you here real quick. Number 1 is Rocky Moline. Thank God smarter heads prevailed. Kewanee Princeton, great rivalry as well, number 2. Geneseo Sterling, number 3. The Wooden Shoe, Morrison and Fulton, number 4. Rock Ridge, Mercer County, or Aledo, number 5. Newman, Rock Ridge, and Newer 1 at number 6. Battle of Rocktown, Alleman and Rock Island at number 7. Anawan, Weathersfield, Stark County, number 8. Number 9, Moline UT. I think that rivalry is going to get better and better on the football side when it comes to competitiveness, because I think both teams are going to be pretty good this year. And then Galena and Stockton at number 10, a long-running rivalry up to the north of us as well. So, again, we want to thank people who partook in the voting for that. Myself, Brian Stocking, Greg Armstrong, Mitch Stormer, Dan Pearson, John Marks, Nick Bull, and I think that's everybody. I probably missed somebody, but the 7 of us kind of put that thing together. It's been a lot of fun. So weigh in what you think on the social media right now. We appreciate you doing that. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, July 15th, midway through the month of July. the end of the summer will be here before you know it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube today, we appreciate that. Please subscribe if you're watching or listening on the podcasting platforms as well. We thank you for doing that also. We want to thank Will Carius for being on today's show. Really, really enjoy catching up with that young man. Super excited to watch what he's been able to do when it comes to professional basketball. If you missed that interview, go back and check it out. Also, continuing to talk about our rankings of the best rivalries in the Illinois side, high school football-wise, and I had to educate Brian Stocking, and you people can tell with that interview what I had to deal with, what I had to put up with over the last 7-8 years when we were working together at WQAD. He's a great person. Very frustrating at times, though, Stockpile. Very frustrating, but one of the best of the best. If you missed yesterday's show, go check that one out as well. We're going to wrap things up a little bit early today. Got a few things I got to take care of behind the scenes, but full show tomorrow. Pleasant Valley's Seth Clausen, who just got drafted by the Colorado Rockies. He'll be on the show tomorrow. Jake Brend, our Cyclone expert, will be on to talk about Big 12 Media Day. It's Steam Wheeler Wednesday tomorrow as well. So a lot to get to tomorrow on the show. We want to thank everybody for watching today's show. And we also want to thank, most importantly, our sponsors who allow us to do this thing each and every weekday right here in the Quad Cities. Thank you guys so much for watching a Tuesday edition of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo.